Welcome to Transformative Truths, quotes for learning, growing, and becoming. I'm Wally Goddard.
And I'm Sarah Waldron Brinton.
And we're glad you're here. We just love sharing ideas, don't we, Sarah?
We do. We can't help it.
I know. Maybe there's a remedy for it, but I don't know what it is.
Until then, we'll just keep doing it.
Yeah, we'll keep going. Keep eating chocolate and sharing quotes.
Yeah, they can't see the big bag of chocolate I have next to me right now.
Yeah, and if you want to come over, we'll share with you. We believe in sharing.
We do.
So I want to share a quote that might be familiar to you. It's from a guy named Henry B. Eyring. It's from a rather prominent talk of his called Remember, Remember. So let's think about this quote. He said, I wrote down a few lines every day for years. I never missed a day. Before I would write, I would ponder this question. Have I seen the hand of God reaching out to touch us or our children or our family today? As I kept at it, something began to happen. I would see evidence of what God had done for one of us that I had not recognized in the busy moments of the day. As that happened, and it happened often, I realized that trying to remember had allowed God to show me what he had done. End of quote. What do you think, Sarah?
I think that's amazing, first of all.
Yeah.
Every day. I don't know about my track record with doing the same thing every day, even as well-intentioned as I've been. And I think sometimes that becomes a stumbling block for people like me who might have a little tiny hint of perfectionism in there.
Plus a tiny hint of 4 children.
A tiny hint of 4 children, 7 and under.
Yes, yeah.
And so the beginning of this year, or actually when I just had my 4-month-old, I thought, okay, now's the time. We're going to journal. And boy, did I have a nice journal for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then you get kind of discouraged and you think, well, if I missed one day, why not miss another day? I guess that's just the first thing that comes to my mind is I see every day and I think, I never missed a day is not a word I'll ever be able to.
Sarah, your thing is probably more creativity than it is, that steadiness that I think President Eyring has in abundance.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Now, I might, in this regard, be closer to him.
I know.
Because every single day for about almost 60 years, which is a pretty good record.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Just twice as long as I've lived on the earth.
Yeah. And so for all that time, every day I write down, and it's transformed, it's changed over time. But the way I do it now is on a calendar, I just write down an outline of what we did that day, the people we saw, the projects we worked on, etc. And so that's just skeletal, and it only takes maybe 2 minutes. But then I pull out what I call my small plates of Wally. They actually aren't very small, but I pull out the secondary journal, and in that I write down the places where I caught God red-handed blessing us. And indeed, he keeps showing up. He keeps doing things for us. He keeps blessing us. And so I consider my job to catch him. Catch him red-handed. And I love that. It makes me so keenly aware of his goodness. And sometimes they're really subtle things. It might be in just stepping outside and feeling some fresh, lovely air in your face and thinking, somebody really good made this world. And boy, capturing that. Or maybe you're reading a passage in scripture and you think, wow, I love that person, or I love that idea. There are hundreds of places where God shows up, and I'm trying to catch him in more and more and more of them. And truly only 3 or 5 or 6 things a day. But by the time I get to the end of the week, he's got quite a rap sheet.
He's convicted of goodness.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And love and participation. And I love that. So then, now this is going a bit far maybe. Every Sunday evening, I write a letter to him and thank him. I write, beloved Father, I caught you here and I caught you there, and I'm so grateful. And it functions as personal history, and we share it with our kids, sometimes a few friends, but it's about noticing God, catching him. And so I guess I'm saying it not quite as reverently as President Eyring, but the intent is the same, to discover God and his goodness and be really mindful of him.
You know what, Wally, as you were talking, a question that I've had rattling in my mind the past couple of days came to the surface, and I think that you've maybe come up with an antidote for those of us who might be tired and have a case of 4 tiny children or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I have to admit that in this stage of my life, I don't always feel that my faith is as readily accessible because I am so tired.
So many demands on your time, Sarah.
So many. And
they're unrelenting.
Yes. And as much as I do recognize that this is the exact life I always prayed for, it doesn't make the diaper changes and the,
and the feedings
and
the soothing of hurt feelings,
accidents, all of the things any less. And I kind of, if I have a moment there's no human beings in my immediate presence, it is far and few between. And those are kind of the moments that I really need to connect with God sometimes, or at least to recognize his hand in my life. And I was thinking about that the past couple of days, like Sarah, who was just a single gal in college, I would do what you were describing. I'd walk around campus and I feel to walk this way today. And then you run into somebody. And I think I was more readily noticing, maybe just because I had an average of 8 hours of sleep a day, but
and you had some bandwidth in your life.
I did.
Had some time that was your own.
Well, and I remember my mission president telling us, one day you're going to look back on your mission and think, wow, what would I give for 2 hours of study time a day? I mean, that is so far beyond my reality. And what I did learn in those couple of weeks of really good journal keeping when my baby David was born was that God was in all of those moments. When I'm pulling off to the side of the road to fix a seat buckle or all of these things. And I found that what did work for me and what I hope to make work for me again is just take out a note on my phone. And the second that I notice something, write it down.
Oh, yeah, on your phone.
On my phone, because my phone is in my pocket.
Yeah, it's always right there.
For better or worse. And then I could add to it and very easily slip in a picture of this. Like, here's an example.
Okay.
So I was kind of stuck at home every Sunday for a couple months just to keep my baby safe it was cold and flu season.
Yeah.
And so I would watch sacrament meeting on the Zoom.
Uh-huh.
And my favorite part of every meeting was right after the meeting was over, everyone says amen. And then the camera zooms out. And before he gets it turned off, it would just be this bird's eye view of the congregation for maybe a minute, 2 minutes. And I would just see
all these people
I care about had each other on the shoulder. I could see my husband picking up our kids and walking to primary and so saying, how are you? All these things. And I would take a little screenshot of that and then put it in my journal and remember, or I'd take a screenshot of the person who was speaking and write something that touched me. And I just kind of put it all in the same document because organization is maybe not my strength. But boy, when I go back and visit it, I think there's this continuity of holiness that kind of weaves this thread through our days if we take the time to notice it. I'm grateful to have talked about this quote today because even when it seems like, boy, I'm never going to be able to say I never missed a day, that's not a good reason to not do anything at all.
And Sarah, now I don't know if this would work for you, but just an idea. Imagine that as you finish dinner with the family, you said, I just wonder if any of you spotted God today. I wonder if any of you saw something marvelous, maybe a beautiful bird or kindness from your sibling, or I wonder if there's some place where you spotted happiness. And then they can come to equate happiness with gift from God. And you can say, I have my journal right here. Tell me, Arthur, what did you see? Bonnie, what do you see? Make a note, and someone will say, I didn't see anything. You say, okay, keep your eyes open. You'll probably spot something. And often I think a lot of your joy is your children's joy, isn't it? And so when they're experiencing goodness and godliness, it brings joy to mama. So there may be something like that. Or maybe if you have a bedtime ritual, maybe there's a time to bring out the book and let them even scribble something in the book. I mean, that's just an idea that it becomes a part of a family ritual instead of something that requires dedicated, quiet time, which is in short supply in your life.
Right. You need to adjust your methodology to fit
your reality.
Because your reality is a lot harder to adjust.
Yes.
It's a lot harder to make my toddler every night while I have my 2 hours of personal and companion study. I mean, by the time me and my husband make it to bed, it's like we're just asleep. And tomorrow we do it all over again. And so I like this idea of doing just like Jesus. He would serve and love people on the way.
Yeah.
On the way.
On the way.
So on the way to piano lessons or on the way to
Ooh, what if
school pickup?
you had this book, whatever it is, and you sometimes pass it to Arthur to write something in, and he, for a designated space for the day, would say, well, he draws a picture of a dinosaur, or he writes his favorite mathematical equation, and maybe Bonnie draws a sunshine, and maybe Clover. Well, you should think of something clever.
Sure.
And maybe you put just a little bit of spit up from David on there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
He'd be happy to supply. I like that, though. And I think that we can take this as an invitation to all of our listeners, whatever your life and family circumstances may be, that if you'll take a moment to notice God and take it just that step further to write it down.
Yes.
I think we'll all find that faith that might seem a little out of reach, that connection to heaven that might seem a little strained or staticky might come in a bit clearer.
Yes. We'll be renewed in our faith and maybe in our joy.
Maybe in our joy. Thanks so much, Wally, and thanks to all of you for joining us.
Yes, glad you were here. We hope that some of the quotes we share are meaningful to you and something maybe you'd like to add to your personal collection. If so, go to drwally.com and look under Transformative Truths podcast, and all the quotes as we broadcast them will be available to you to cut and paste into your collection.